Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FaB GaB, where I have guests up many times to discuss Beatles and solo Beatles news, music, releases. Sometimes we just rank our favorite tracks. And Matthew Street is here. Matthew Street was one of the regulars that I had first. Remember, way back in a couple of years ago when we were doing these, Matthew was on pretty regularly. And Matthew Street is from the Matthew Street channel, which you should be subscribed to on YouTube. Hi, Matt. Thank you for joining.
Joe, thanks for having me. I always appreciate when I get an invite. It's great.
All right, let's do more. And I'm so happy to have Ken Michaels here. Ken Michaels, how do I word this? Is one of my former co-hosts from Talk More Talk, among many other things, which I used to be on, and just had so many busy things to do. 2 channels. Now I have a third that I'm doing. So I got 3 channels now. But Ken also, of course, is on the Things We Said Today, which is another Beatles podcast. He has a wonderful show that he's been doing for many years now, syndicated, Every Little Thing, Beatles Every Little Thing, which whenever I get a chance to hear it, I just love it. It's just the kind of show I like because it's every little thing. It's not just, you're not just going to hear Long and Winding Road. You're not just going to hear Imagine. You're going to hear all kinds of stuff, solo too, with an emphasis, and games and all kinds of fun stuff to do. Of course, he has also Ken Michaels Radio, which is a YouTube channel also that he has. And I think I got everything, but with Ken, you never know.
that pretty much covers it, except my website, but that's okay.
The website, a mere bag of shells, that one.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. We were hoping to get another guest on here, but he's having trouble logging in. If he can get it going, he'll join us midway through. All right. We're going to talk here about something that already I'm starting to find out for me is getting a little played out. I'm kind of talked out about this, but I wanted to do this. I wanted to get these 2 guys on here for their perspective, talking about a couple of things in a way. First, talking about the fact that a song has been eliminated from the upcoming John and Yoko set Power to the People. Everybody knows what it is, and we're going to talk about that, how we feel about that. I've learned some new things about it since I made my video. I did a video where I let it all hang out, and I'm going to not do that as intensely here as I was, because I got it out of my system, and now I'm resigned to it. So we're going to talk a little about that, the song, how we feel, and then we're going to talk about what we are getting in this deluxe box set, Power to the People, and trying to keep emphasis on the good. All right, so I figured, guys, before we start, I'm just going to say some things that are on my mind about it, and you feel free to ignore them, bounce off on them, offer your own, and we'll go around and talk about all of it. Okay, now the first thing is I'm very upset that the song "Woman is the N-word of the world" is not, and it's a shame we have to talk in circles like that, but this is YouTube. A lot of people think you're being hypocritical if you say the song should be there, but you don't mention it. Hey, I don't make the rules on YouTube. It is what it is, and it's more important to me, I guess, that this gets out here and we can talk about it rather than not being able to talk about it. But anyhow, the song, I'm very upset about it. Now, the other day, I was actually driving a car with my girlfriend, and I had the Sometime in New York City CD on, one of the older ones, and I wanted to listen to it because this has been in my mind, that album in 1972, John and Yoko. So I played it. I always enjoyed that song. I think John, it really helped out the cause for women's rights. It's a women's rights song, a liberation song, and it's so powerful that as I'm driving, I got really into it. And I actually, here's my people are going to love this. They're going to say, well, Joe, you're really getting sappy here on us. I was getting a tear in my eye started to come down. My girlfriend's in the car. Why? Because of the strength of the song, the conviction, but also knowing that this thing's been deleted now from the new set. They're trying to now kind of erase it from present history anyway, if not past. It's available on other places where you can hear it, but the whole thing just overwhelmed me, and I was like, I didn't go bawling my eyes out, but I was like, man, what a shame, you know, and I was overcome by the power of it. Now, I've been watching other podcasts and things, and some points have been brought up, and not only that, but I've got like, I think about 400 maybe comments under my video. I've been reading comments under Matthew Street's video. He's got a video. Other people made videos. And some points I just want to bring up that seem to be a common thread in the comments and other people's videos. For example, someone, more than one person, let's be fair, has said that sure they'd like the song to be included. They really want it. But, you know, this is the reality, they say, in 2025. This is just the way it is. And it's too bad it's like that, but they have to do what they have to do. And I get that also. You know, I understand the why. People can try and explain why to me they did it. I understand the why. But in a way, I'm wondering if that reality that we're talking about in present day is not from things just like this. Just casting a blind eye to getting context out of anything or discussing something and just saying, you know what, throw it out. How did we get here to this reality, in my opinion, in 2025? Maybe it's time to rethink, maybe a little bit, and talk about it a little bit. Do something about it, as the song would say. Another point that I'm going to delicately talk about is I've said, and I've heard other people say, it seems wrong that offending word could be used in certain other songs by certain other artists, but yet with John, they won't have it. And I understand a common argument that people have made where they say, well, you know, if you're African American, you know, you understand how hurtful the word is, how much it means to say that, how offensive and off-putting it is. Therefore, if you're a black artist in hip hop, say, or rap, or whatever, gangsta rap, or maybe not even that at all, but if you're that type of person, you are justified in using the word. But if you happen to be white, it's not the same. You can't use the word. Here's a point I want to make. Take it for what it's worth. I mean, I get that. You know, I mean, I get that. I'm able to appreciate that view, but I'm wondering. This is playing devil's advocate. What about teenagers who listen to the songs by those artists who might be white? They like rap music and hip hop and all that, and they get that word from the songs, and they go around using it. You know, it comes out of their mouths, and they get familiar with the word. It's still, by your logic, it's still doing harm, isn't it? Isn't it still doing harm? Isn't it being, perpetrated and said everywhere? Even though the artists themselves may have more of a natural right to say it than a white person. That's another thing I was just wanting to throw out there. And I'll get done with this quickly now. But one thing, it's been said that a lot of opinions. You know, look, the camp, the Lennon side, damned if they do, damned if they don't. There's repercussions both ways. I wouldn't want to be in their position to have to try to figure what the heck is the best thing to do with this. It can't be an easy dilemma, okay? But I really wonder if they decided that there'd be more harm in putting it out than not putting it out. I'm wondering, I question that. Because a lot of people have said they're boycotting this. Maybe at the end of the day, they figure, well, some people will boycott it, but more people will still buy it than not. I don't know why I can't help thinking that the old saying, shoot yourself in the foot. I think maybe that's what's happening, because who's the main intended audience for this? it seems like they don't want to upset people from TikTok, Gen Z. It's been said that John gets a lot of grief right now. We're at a point where John gets really torn apart in the press, social media, especially by younger people who just hear John was a deadbeat father who did all this to his son, and John, the whole argument about he beat his wife. I don't even want to say these things because it's all exaggerations. It's all blown out of proportion. And do we want to add now? John said that word. He said the N word. John. Are the younger people really the ones that they're targeting here? Who's the main one? Who's going to buy these things? I think mostly, maybe I'm wrong, people that are like 50s, 60s, 70s, people that grew up with this, that remember that era, that loved John. I'm so glad to have, as Ken will call them, the young bloods, the young people, the Gen Zers. We need you. We need people to be into John Lennon and the Beatles. Please don't misunderstand me. But I'm wondering, at the end of the day, does it make sense to cater to them and their sensitivities more than the core audience that's going to buy it? Maybe I should work for the record company. I don't know. I think they made a misstep here. I don't know. And I don't know. I have to kind of let it go because I could go on and on with more. So I want to ask you guys what you think about it. And in particular with Ken, I want him to shed more light on this because he did a great show recently, and I want you to see it. A Talk More Talk with their guest, Gary Von Sayak, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He was on there. He was the bass player in Elephant's Memory, and he played at the one-to-one concert. He played on the album, on the song in question. He played, and he revealed some information that's spreading like wildfire. And I'm so happy that Talk More Talk was able to, reveal this. So Ken, can we start with that first and then whatever else comes to mind? If you can fill us in a little more.
Well, the show that we just did with Gary was about a little bit about the history of Elephant's Memory and how they got to work with John and Yoko, leading into the bulk of the interview was about the one-to-one show. And I wanted to save the big question about that song towards the end. And I said to Gary, do you know the reason why it was taken out? And Gary did talk to Sean about it. And Sean said that it has to do with the lawyers advising him not to keep it in there. And by the way, before I continue with this, you also did a follow-up video on this. And you said something which is absolutely true, because none of us knows the full extent. We know what we have in the press release, but there's always that chance. Sean knew that John would oppose this, and Yoko opposes it. You don't know if it might be an Easter egg hidden in there somewhere in the box set. Just want to get that out of the way.
Well, I said that to cover my own butt because I started thinking, hey, it could be a hidden track. Maybe I better say that. Okay, wise guy, you said it wasn't going to be here. You got on your soapbox and it's here as a hidden track. So I said it. And then I think somebody said since then there's been a quote somewhere where it said, is that what you're referring to? There will be no hidden tracks. I heard that was.
Oh, I didn't see that anywhere.
Since then, I think somebody said somewhere, and I don't know really where it was. I'm lost with that.
Okay.
But I know whether that's true or not. I don't know. We'll see.
But anyway, the interview with Gary went great. I've known Gary since the 80s. He's one of my earliest guests from back when I did my radio show in New Jersey, what became Every Little Thing. And just discussing the whole concert in general, the songs that they performed. John insisted he'd only do the one Beatles song would Come Together. He thought the band was really hot, especially on the Yoko songs like Move On Fast. He thought it was a terrific performance. Stuff like that. I wanted to get into a question which nobody asks, which is, what about the opening acts at the one-to-one show? Because a lot of people may not know that Roberta Flack opened, Stevie Wonder did a performance, Sha Na Na was there. Later on in the concert, Melanie appeared, at the very end for Give Peace a Chance. Gary also said that Elephant's Memory did a set, which I never knew. And I kind of wish we get a little sample of all those artists, since we have 9 discs in this set. I also wish that they put Elephant's Memories album on Apple in the box set. Why not? With all the other stuff from Apple that's come out, that's one of the few that still remains unreleased. But it was really a great interview, and Gary is a slow talker, but it's very thoughtful, everything that he says. He brings up memories, which I've shared before, especially when John and Elephant's Memory were on the Mike Douglas show. And Mike always opened his shows with singing a song to the audience. And one of the shows he opened with Michelle, and John's standing there behind the curtain next to Gary and the band, and he's like,
Yeah.
He said the F word. He's like,
Yeah.
why that one? Doesn't he know that that's Paul's song?
But he rebounded quick, John. He rebounded.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, stories like that only, Gary can share with about that particular period. We talked about the Sometime in New York City album. It's everything. It was a very active period. Within just a year or so, they did all these TV appearances. They did Sometime in New York City. They did Yoko's album, Approximately Infinite Universe. They did the Elephant's Memory album. And they were getting ready for a tour. And really, the one-to-one concerts were supposed to be the kickoff for it. And, he was lamenting, obviously, that it got the kibosh because of the political situation and immigration wanting to get John out of the country and all that. And it might have happened. The same thing. We almost had a tour after Double Fantasy if John wasn't murdered. So, we talked about all these things. He's just a wonderful guy.
And the show must be seen. I mean, you have to see it. It's really good.
Sorry
I missed out on it. But anyway, I want to bring you into this too. But just before, that's the thing that people were saying. Everybody's blaming Sean. Now, when I did my video, I think I kind of said the Lennons or something. And in the title, I tried to cover it by saying originally that it was, I just told Matthew what it was. I'm drawing a blank here, getting a little
the camp?
I said like Lennon team. Originally, I said Lennon team, which maybe includes the lawyers, kids. I didn't say, Sean Lennon or anything. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because in my heart, I'm thinking, I think Sean would want this out, the song. His dad wants to preserve his dad's music. And he was going to put this out sometime in New York City box in 2022. He had said on social media that it's coming in 2022. And he had this problem. So he moved on to Mind Games instead.
Right.
Here's the thing. I learned a new word. Well, I knew this word, but Sean still acquiesced. He still, if it is the case that he wanted this on and fought like hell or whatnot, still eventually, I guess he said, I got to do it then, or not come out at all. And I'm wondering, I don't know legalities, if Sean is in a situation where he can say, well, you know what? No deal this way. I'm going to put it out myself or another company or another way to get it released because it's important to me that this come out. Could he have done? I don't want to put, words in his mouth. Maybe he's legally bound that he doesn't have the ability to do that. He doesn't own the rights to put it out. I don't know anything about that. So I want to give Sean the benefit of the doubt. And that's where it is. Matt, can you, anything we've talked about so far?
Yeah,
you did a video on this too. Let me know what you think of this song being omitted.
I had a general video where I was just like, when it was announced, and then my second video was a little more vitriol to it because I had learned about the song being removed. So, obviously, a little more dramatic in that video because I was upset about the song being taken off. But let me go back to a couple of things. I don't, whether it's an Easter egg or not, I don't go for the Easter egg thing. I just think to do that, that's a bad mistake. It's even more embarrassing if they try to hide it as an Easter egg or a hidden track or a buried track. I don't like that idea. So I hope they don't do that. They've done what they've done. Just leave it as it is. If it's a buried track, I think that's even more kind of disgusting. I mean, don't even put it on there if you've made this decision. Don't hide it or bury it. I don't believe in that. The other thing is, point you made, Joe, about damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's true. Putting it on there, they're damned, and taking it off, they're getting damned over it. But I think the better choice would have been to leave it. I think you would have had less damning if you had just left it there, not put a spotlight on it, not put an arrow towards it. Just put this set out as Power to the People. I'm not saying they had to put out Sometime in New York City deluxe box with, with this cover, lenticular, so Nixon and Mao are dancing or whatever. When you move the cover, they do. No, I agree. I like this packaging idea. I like the hybrid of Power to the People being the one-to-one shows melded with songs from Sometime in New York City, bringing 1972 all together in one beautiful, well-designed package like this. I like that idea. But just put the song in there. Just put it in and don't make a big deal about it. Yeah, there might have been some people that would have bitched and moaned about it, but I think just throwing it on there would have been better. And it would have been less attention to it. And as a result, what they've done is they've brought more spotlight and attention on this silly move and made this the focus of the discussion now. The song,
it's always the way.
Why not just put it on there? Yeah, some people might have bitched and moaned a little bit. There might have been some complaints. I get it. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But just put it on there. Don't make a big deal about it. Just put it on the one-to-one disc. Put it on the songs of Sometime in New York City mixed in to this Power of the People box set, and let the chips fall where they may. Instead, now they've brought this negative, like I said, spotlight onto it. And now we should be here, the three of us, talking about the wonders of this Power to the People set. And, how do you like the packaging? And, whoa, look, what do you think of this? And why did they do that? That's what we should be talking about. Instead, we're focused on this. So I think that was a mistake. That was a mistake to put the attention on this. They should have just put it. I mean, didn't John get some national organization of women award, I believe, for the song? Didn't he, after in the post release of the song, the now National Organization of Women gave him some award or something because they understood what he was doing with this song, and there were people of African Americans prominent at the time who were speaking in support of the song. They understood what John was getting at. I don't know. I just think the Easter egg thing, I don't go for that. And I think damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think the less damning would have been to just put it out there in a Power to the People box set and let the chips fall.
Yeah, you don't have to go plastering it around. Put it out.
No, but I think
it's part of the set.
When you ignore it as an issue, you're drawing more attention that way, and you're going to have more people questioning it. So, I just read an article on Facebook where someone had said that this is all Sean's fault because when he tried to put out the Sometime in New York City box set in 2022, he had the problem with the song, but he didn't tell the public about that. And if he had done so, then maybe the record company would have gotten a lot of feedback, make sure it comes out with the song. He could have drummed up support for the song and for the album instead of, as you put it, Joe, acquiescing. And I also agree with you, Matt, about not liking the Easter egg concept. I like it in the sense that this is his way of getting even. He'll get the song in there somehow.
Yeah, I feel a little like that too.
But it's also the first song on the album of Sometime in New York City. The first song to start Sometime in New York City with Sisters Oh Sisters, it changes.
Excuse me, Ken.
Yeah.
Disc 4 is going to start with New York City. They rearranged it, changing the order.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I should have noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a better choice. And I
love that song. I love that.
Yeah,
I do too.
But still, yeah. I mean, this is a tough subject, and I agree with you. He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. And it's really sad. Why? I don't know what they're going to put in the booklet for this, But why couldn't they just have put the song in there and explain what the song's about to young people who may not understand why this song was done? It was really Yoko's idea. She came up with the title anyway.
Yes.
Why can't they just simply explain that? If they're gearing this towards some young people anyway, they're not going to be familiar probably with this song. But you know something? This is what makes no sense to me. The song is still out there anyway.
Right.
You can go on YouTube and listen to it. You can still order sometime in New York City the original album if you want.
Yes.
To. Why is this any different?
Mm-hmm.
No sense.
And I also noticed that, and I forget the year, but the Give Me Some Truth double CD compilation that came out, it's around 2003. That song was on there, but it hasn't been in any of the other compilations since then.
I just looked at one of them in the box. It was a 3-disc set. I thought it was Give Me Some Truth. In the CD little box, and I thought it was 2010, but I think it's been 2010 it came out. I checked it the other day,
but I think it's earlier.
No, well, we'll see. But I'm thinking it's later, but we'll see. You can look it up because I've heard other people say on different broadcasts and things that it was as recently as 2010. I think somebody even said 2015. Because when John's albums were fairly recently re-released, the vinyl.
Okay, the reissues, the Sometime in New York City reissue.
Even more the case.
Yeah, this is the signature one of it with his autograph.
Right.
I forget what edition this is, but it's fairly new.
And another thing, people have noted that John does other things on this album, says other things on this album, which people could take issue with, talking about the word genocide, talking about in John Sinclair, the G word, for, talking about Vietnam. It rhymes with, I'll put a C at the front, kooks with a C. Okay. That's still on there. Now, what I want to know is people say, well, 2025, this is 2025. Well, if 5 years go by and in 2030, that becomes a word that's not said. Now we're going to lose John Sinclair on the next, realization of this material.
Well, the whole album is just full of all kinds of different topics that are all over the map: women's rights, the race relations, prison conditions, what was happening in Ireland, Northern Ireland at the time, all that.
And I guess you could say scumbag. I guess that's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible to me.
He's covering all kinds of extreme topics back then, and yet they're focusing on this one word.
The Pope smokes dope. Pope smokes dope. But I'm just trying to say it's just silly. It's just silly. You find one thing to get upset about, not others. Yet, because this is where we are, as a lot of people said, well, this is where we are now in 2025. Well, we may be somewhere else in 2035, and then you're not going to be able to have another song on. Silly.
I've never been in favor of censorship of any kind, but it could get worse and worse and worse. I even said, on the show with Gary, what if we deleted the Ballad of John and Yoko?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
Christ, it ain't easy. That offends me.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that should be taken out of the catalog.
Yeah,
every song out that has the F word. Take out Working Class Hero.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Working Class Hero has the F bomb twice. The C word for the man's anatomy is in I Found Out.
Yes.
I mean, come on, folks, really.
I can't take credit for this, but just watching other channels that have talked about Paul's McCartney album 1980 with the instrumental Frozen Jap, and then someone else was sarcastic on a comment I saw. They said, well, what are they going to do? Take Run for Your Life off of Rubber Soul now? Because it's misogynistic towards women. I mean, it's crazy. I just have to kind of laugh at it. I just think the whole thing's silly. So what? It's 2025. We know what John's intent was with that particular song and his use of that word. And I just think you're drawing more ridiculous attention to it by doing what they've done rather than just leaving it as is.
Very well. So, yeah. And also on when John performed it on the Dick Cavett show, they made Dick Cavett do some kind of a disclaimer or something to
Right.
talk about it first. And he said, I did receive a lot of complaints, none about the song, all of them about me doing the
Disclaimer.
disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think John said that he had a funny way of putting it. He said it was the whites that were offended by the song. You know, a lot of the black community understood it. And we all saw the show where John has a quote where he's trying to explain the song.
Yes. That was on Mike Douglas, right?
I thought it was the Dick Cavett show, but maybe I'm wrong. One of those shows, he has it on there. And the thing is, well, because he sang the song on Dick Cavett, so maybe it was Dick Cavett. But it wasn't his quote. He says, as he's reading the quote by someone else, he goes, now, I didn't say that. I'm showing you the quote somebody else is trying to explain the use of the word in the song. And I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was. Do either of you remember who?
I thought it was a politician. I don't remember.
Politician. I don't know if he was black or white. I don't know at the time. But yeah, another thing was said. One podcaster in particular was saying, John was a flawed human being, which he was. I think John was a very flawed human being. That's one of the reasons I gravitate to him, and I'm interested in John's flaws as well. But I don't think he's flawed for this song. I don't think this song itself, as this podcaster claimed, is inherently a flawed song. Fact, we know this is a flawed song. I don't think it's a flawed song.
No.
In and of itself.
Message.
The thing that upsets me a little bit too is I thought this was a great idea what they came up with for this 72 period. They kind of skipped over the album and they went right to Mind Games. But then when I heard this was coming out, my initial reaction was, oh, this is a good idea. Instead of trying to focus everything on Sometime in New York City or the one-to-one concerts, wow, they're going to meld this into one new thing. Power to the People, the box set, Power to the People, the double CD set, the quadruple album set. I just thought for material that I'm not saying I consider it weak, but let's be honest. I mean, Sometime in New York City is one of my lesser ranked John Lennon albums, to be honest. And there's people that do complain about the quality of the one-to-one concerts, that this show is a little better than that show, whatnot. But to take the two of these, what are considered in some camps as being weaker material from John's solo career, and melding it into this Power to the People set was a wonderful idea.
Agreed.
Concept. I love the packaging. I think whoever designed this with the cover, with the extras you're getting in there, the little goodies and stuff, wonderful way to do it. Put the two of them together and release it as this. I think everything would have been absolutely fine, albeit taking this damn song off of both entities, one-to-one and the album Sometime in New York City was a big mistake. I think the concept, the idea was wonderful. I love this idea of a new creation with the two entities.
Which I'm glad you did it, because I thought we could segue into that too, unless you still have anything else you want to say about the omission of the song. I know one thing I'd like to say is, again, the podcast I was referencing was saying, folks, John was no saint. He's no saint. People think he's a saint. He's not a saint. We're well aware of that. That's part of the appeal of John, that he wasn't a saint. He wouldn't want to be a saint. However, the irony to me is, in my opinion, scrubbing this song away makes John look more like a saint. You know what I mean? You say he's not a saint. Well, then let's have the song on. Let's have the controversial track on there. By scrubbing it off, taking it off, are you trying to sanctify him a little more? Are you trying to make him, more clean? I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to say I really feel for Sean right now, because that his heart is in this.
Has to be.
Done such amazing work on the other box sets. I'm totally blown away by the Mind Games box set, and it's become like the format that he does on these box sets is the template for what should be done with evolutionary mixes and elements mixes and all this other stuff. And I think the job he's done has been wonderful. I'm not going to say I agree with every decision that he's made. Joe, you and I disagreed about removing the sax and
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the Sean thing. Sean, I love the saxophones. Maybe that's the truth. That's the real reason why Woman isn't on there. I almost said the name of the song, but that's the real reason why it's because the saxophones are.
Then you have to take out New York City too.
Oh yeah, but Ken, you're so right, and I want to make this clear. People can interpret this however they want. I was not afraid to go on there and give my opinions. I talked to Sean a few times. I'm not friends, I'm not big friends with Sean or anything, but I had a few email exchanges. He liked what I did in my review years ago now when I reviewed the Give Me Some Truth 2020 box set. And in that, I mentioned that I didn't like that the saxophones from Steel and Glass were removed. I mentioned it, and he saw the review and contacted me, and we talked a little about it. And he told me why in his mind, he felt that he wanted to do that. But he appreciated that I was willing to criticize as well as praise. So a lot of idiots out there, they think that if people like me get complimentary copies, which I do, from the Lennon estate to review and stuff, that I'm going to just be 100%, butt kissing of it. And I don't do that. I'm not a shill. And I made that clear. So what I'm trying to say is I'm going to buy this no matter what. I mean, if I get a complimentary copy, fine. I really hope that I put my cards on the table. It's like what it is. But if I have to buy it, I will. Just like I bought the George Harrison All Things Must Pass crate for $1,000 or whatnot. Just like I buy all other kinds of things. That's not the issue. Okay, I'm going to get it no matter what because, which we're going to get into now, I hope, I'm looking at the good as well. Because, all right, now that that's over about the song, we can, what about the good stuff we're getting? What about how much we're getting? I think it's going to be a really great set overall. And I'm looking forward to having it and reviewing it. And when I review it, I'll do just like I always do. I will praise a lot of things and maybe everything if I love everything. But if I think something was a misstep or something, I'll say that too. That's just how I do it. I'm not going to be compromised. I'm not going to not buy it. I've had people tell me, again, you're a hypocrite. It's people like you that complain and then buy it anyway that let this happen. And I say, I'm sorry. In this case, guilty as charged. I'm not going to be out 90-something tracks as a John Lennon fan and collector because that song's not on. Having said that, I'll stop here. I promise.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
I can't help it.
Because we've also said on Talk More Talk when you were on it that if you don't buy the box sets for some reason that you're not happy about it, then they might stop making the box sets. And
that's the other. That's the other. They interpret that differently.
So I just wanted to say that I think that in the case of Sean, he takes this work extremely seriously. And he wants everything out there, believe me. He knows who John Lennon was. He knows how historically important he was. And his attitude is probably, before he gets into Walls and Bridges, let's get this out of the way and make sure that this all comes out. So you're not only getting all but one song on Sometime in New York City, but you're getting all this other stuff too to make it worthwhile. We all wish that song was on there, but to have everything else that's in this box set, I think, it's, and even then, there are going to be people who are going to be nitpicky about this too.
Sure.
That. There are some Beatles fans out there that some people are never satisfied, right?
You know what you're doing.
I'm looking for, let's take away what we've just been talking about with the song. I think this is a great thing, and I'm not decided yet whether I'm going to get the deluxe or get something a little smaller and then try to pick up the other stuff on just Spotify, but I haven't decided that yet. But I'm impressed how they took, back when they released the Give Me Some Truth box set and Angela was on there.
Yeah.
That really blew me. I've never been a big fan of Sometime in New York City, other than I like the song New York City is one of my favorites. And there's a few other songs on there that I enjoy. But when I heard the remix on Give Me Some Truth of Angela, it gave me hope. I said, wow, I was so impressed with how well that sounded, that one particular song, that I said, wow, if they ever do a box set, this is before all this, of Sometime in New York City, I think I'll probably get it and check it out, because if they can make that song sound so much better on the Give Me Some Truth box, imagine what the whole album will sound like. I said, it's gonna, even though it's not one of his better albums, down near the bottom for me, but I think it could be elevated by a remix. And so in that sense, I'm looking forward to hearing those songs remixed. I am
a lot of people have said that about Angela from Give Me Some Truth, that they really I love what they did.
I really love that.
Yeah. I love the job they did on Give Me Some Truth overall. You know, I mean, I do. Except for stealing glass. But and please, when you do Walls and Bridges for the proper album, leave the saxophone in there. Please, I beg of you.
No, I am looking forward to it'll be at one track.
Well, now again, everything you said, I concur with, and again, now I got to throw this in. That's one last disappointment about the woman song not being on there is I'm not going to get it in a ultimate 2025 mix. I was really hoping to hear what they could do with that, you know, and we're not going to hear it. But yeah, I love the box design, the lenticular cover. John and Yoko wanted. I think that's really cool.
It's well designed set, and I didn't even mention the 1-to-1 concert sounds just what I've heard thus far with Come Together and some of the stuff that's already been pre-released. Wow, it's going to sound much better than it ever did back in 1986 I think it was 86, right? We first got live in New York City. It's going to be a hell of a lot better sounding.
And people should know, I didn't realize at first when I dove into this thing, you know, hearing about it, the videos are not on there. You know, this is all audio. There's not going to be the video concert, you know, the visual. That's supposed to come later.
Next
so we're going to get that later. And by the way, I didn't even realize Sisters Oh Sisters is also removed from the live.
That's true.
Is there any particular reason for that? Do either one of you
I have a theory, that's all. Now, if I remember well from 1986, I love that song, by the way. It's one of my favorite Yoko songs, and I love it, the studio version. I think when she did it live, I thought I remember it being I don't know what the word to use was. It didn't really flow. It didn't sound right to me or something. It was almost like she's just talking it at the beginning rather than singing it. Something was off, I thought, with it. I always thought that about the live performance. Now, that's only one show. I don't know about the other show of Sisters Oh Sisters, but the one that they put out in '86, maybe it wasn't. They didn't feel it was able to put it out there on the audio disc because of that. Just a guess. I don't think it's anything.
I was just wondering because I don't know how much all the timing is for the discs of the live concert. Maybe it was beyond the capacity of a CD, an extra song there, because there's a lot of songs in that concert to put on one CD. So
right.
I don't know. I'm guessing. But I also wanted to say, because you were talking about the audio quality, Matthew, in the documentary of 1-to-1, the audio sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
Cold Turkey sounded amazing in the theater. So I can only guess what it's going to sound like on this box set.
And so much stuff. I mean, you know, I'm thinking also about the rehearsals. There were a lot of rehearsals for the show that are on bootlegs.
Yep.
They're not included, right? Nothing's included of that. I don't think. There's one disc that has some kind of rehearsal, but I don't know if that's album session. The sessions jamming for the album. It might be.
I'm really not sure, but I think it doesn't sound like it's from the Butterfly Studios rehearsals. It doesn't sound like it, although some of the titles are the same. A few of them.
The 90 plus unreleased tracks, is that a lot of that home demos and stuff? I don't have the list in front of me. Do you recall what's the bulk of these 90 plus?
Some demos.
There are some home demos, correct?
Yeah.
You're talking about the 1971, the stuff that was from the hotel, the Adelphi. You talking about that?
Yeah, I don't recall. I don't have it in front of me. Is that on there? Is that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's on.
Okay.
That's a lot of good stuff. That's just John on acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
that's been bootlegged, but I don't think it's complete because they actually say that there's two different. I have it down here somewhere. Home. Oh, I'm sorry, not the Adelphi, the St. Regis Hotel in New York, and that's September and October. So there's two different sets of recordings there. And also there's 4 songs with Phil Oakes from the Campus Inn in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah, so you have, I'm a little confused here because I thought that what it said about St. Regis was 2 appearances at St. Regis. I know September was, and then it says home recordings, so I'm not totally sure.
Right. Those home recordings being the ones we've heard on the Lost Lennon tapes, I'm guessing.
It sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a nice package, and I'm going to be. I always loved the Evolution mixes. Yeah. Getting up to the song as we know it, like the process. I love that. They're going to do that. People are saying, hey, look, folks, they're making excuses in a way. They're saying this is a compilation. This is not a Sometime in New York City box set. But they are taking the Sometime in New York City album. They're just calling it New York City now. No more Sometime in. And they're just sneaking it in as disc 4 with the ultimate 2025 mix of the songs. It's really the closest we're going to come to the album getting released as a remix, unless
I didn't see, if I recall correctly, there's not a lot of like outtakes from the album or rough mixes.
There's Evolution, the Evolution mixes. I mean, I should have had the information in front of me.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, I apologize for that.
Yeah, there's evolutionary mixes and elements mixes. It actually says Studio Jam, New York City.
Studio Jam. See, who knows now? Is that?
You know what? Let me see if I can bring it up because I keep the window here open at all times. Studio Jam. It's got it. This sounds like it's in the studio with the band during the Sometime in New York City sessions.
Right. It's not, which is different from the rehearsals for the show, 1-to-1 show.
Right. That's how I interpret this. And then you got elements mixes for 4 songs.
Element mixes. Okay. And some of the songs are going to be extended. I forget which ones. Yeah.
Some of the ones from the Frank Zappa concert are supposed to be.
No, the actual songs on the album, I believe, are extended. I forget which ones. Wow. I think Sunday Bloody Sunday is one of them.
Oh, okay.
And I think John Sinclair might have been another one. I don't know if we're talking about the fade out. Like, it might not fade or something, but they're supposed to be longer. Some of them denoted, extended version or something like that. But again, not as well prepared as I should have been here. Our other guest says he was in the green room, but I don't see him. When you're in the green room, you usually see it on the bottom.
Okay, well, it's a lot of material, so there's a lot to be grateful for.
And I think they did a wonderful job the way they reimagined it, so to speak, and put it into this Power to the People set, with having the live material and the album material together in one new package. I think that was a great idea. I think the only stain is what we were talking about earlier.
What was that? What were we talking about?
What were we talking about?
I'll tell you one thing though that I'm not too crazy about, and that's the hybrid album.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, I think that deserves to be like a separate release just for the casual fan, because if you're buying the box set, you're getting the afternoon and evening show in its entirety anyway. So why do you need another disc combined?
Just for the hybrid,
I thought that was unnecessary myself.
Now there is a separate hybrid release coming out with all the products, right? You can get it on vinyl, I think, a double vinyl of the hybrid, or CD, I believe.
The vinyl, by the way, is not. If you're a casual fan, you can get it, I believe. But I understand what Ken's saying about. But it's only it's not the album. It's right, the studio album. It's on the vinyl is only going to be the live show.
It's just the live hybrid of the two.
I mean, hey, I don't know how often I listen to them, and I want to hear the sound quality. I definitely want to hear the sound quality, what they did with it. But I'm just a person that most of the time, if I want to do something with the live material, I rather watch it. The presentation, whatever it is, whether it's rock show or whether it's Bangladesh. Uh, I just like to see it and hear it together. I'm not big on listening to live albums. There are exceptions. I mean, definitely, but same thing with one-to-one. When it comes out on a video format, I'll be throwing the video in all the time when I want to see it. Not the audio.
Are you going for both, Joe? You're going to get the deluxe and like a vinyl to go with it?
Well, that's the next thing I want. One of the things I was going to ask both of you. What do you plan on getting? I'm definitely going to get the deluxe box. And a lot of times I will also go for the vinyl, but I don't know in this case. I say I don't know, but I probably will. And sometimes I even get the smaller version, 2 CD version. I don't usually get one CD, but I get 2 CD version. It just, as silly as it may sound, I guess, if I'm just going to jump in the car and I want to hear something from one of the box sets, I'd rather not have to take everything out and open up, especially when it was the Mind Games Cube, what you had to go through to get in. The sides and everything to get in there, and you have right on their CD shelf back here in the corner here, you just have the standard CD. So that's what I usually do.
I'm just going to get the deluxe. If it has everything, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Just get your guys' thoughts. I'm still undecided on the deluxe. I'm probably going to get at least one of the vinyls anyway, maybe a CD, but still thinking about the big one. But your thoughts on the price of that? Do you think that's a fair and equitable price?
Let me. You brought that up too.
275.
I heard 239 was the suggested.
239. 239.98.
I'm thinking that's a little more than we're used to. Am I right about that? Because that's the other thing I wanted to bring up is that I always think the Lennons do a fantastic job and give you the most bang for the buck. Always have when we're talking about the regular deluxe set release. I've always liked that they're the same size. It's a little thing I have, a little anal thing that they're all the same size.
They're all uniform, yeah.
Not like the Beatles ones that are all different shapes and sizes. But and I always thought they give you the best deal with it. I thought the Mind Games Cube, the really gigantic cube, was really high priced, overpriced. You got a lot of stuff, but it was really insanely priced. And anyway, back to this question: is the price? I don't know. Am I wrong? This seems like more than they usually ask.
It seems a little high to me, but
me too.
Well, you are getting 9 CDs and 3 Blu-ray audios, so that's 12 discs. So you got to figure that's what $20 a disc, $15 to $20.
Yeah, I was figuring 20, 20 right there. And there's the book.
A couple of them are kind of repetitive because, like Ken said, you're getting a hybrid disc along with 2 shows. So I mean, it's like I said, I'm still thinking about it.
I think it's a little pricey in my mind. As I say, I'm talking about somebody who may get a complimentary copy. I don't know, but so I'm trying to be fair about it. Even if I, I didn't get a complimentary cube. I didn't expect a complimentary cube, and I actually wound up.
Didn't you have one? You got rid of it or something?
I had one, and then I ultimately sold it. And I'll tell you, this is I don't know how you word it. I heard a FOMO, but this is what about fear of having sold? Seller's remorse. In a way, I think I shouldn't have sold that cube. So that's how it is. I go like the wind.
Yeah.
I did sell it to somebody that really wanted one and didn't get one. And then I'm thinking lately, it'd be cool to have that. Cool to have that thing back. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, so it seems a little pricey to me this time. But that wouldn't stop me. If I have to buy it, I'm buying it. I don't give it. I don't care.
You are correct. The Lennons give you the most. Anybody that could ever complain that they don't give you enough should have their head examined. I wish every McCartney release was like the Lennon releases.
Yeah.
Me personally,
they said this new one really, from what I've seen, really impresses me the way they did this and combined everything. I think it's a great looking set.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. I was saying in the show with Gary, I have a bootleg CD of all the TV appearances on audio, and it's great to have it all on one disc. So they're doing something similar with this, although Dick Cavett's not in here and Mike Douglas is not in here. So this thing about Dick Cavett, they only did 2 songs on Dick Cavett. They did the song, and then they also did Sisters Oh Sisters, I think. So it's like
We're All Water
on Dick Cavett.
Oh, that was Mike Douglas? I get that mixed up. He definitely did We're All Water on one of them.
Yeah. And but they don't have the Dick Cavett material and they don't have the Mike Douglas material on here. But Sisters Oh Sisters is on here like 5 times in the box set. So it's not like, it's nice to have everything, but it gets a little repetitive.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Albeit the one controversial issue, this is a comprehensive set, I think. I think it's based on what you guys have mentioned is on it and what we've seen thus far. It looks like it's going to be a great set.
Yeah, once you get over just putting aside that we're disappointed that the one track is not there, what we're getting is still a lot of good stuff, and it's going to be fun. I just wish the other song was on there. We'll see how that goes in the future, This is not related, but I started thinking when we talked about how good, the bang for the buck is and what they include for the Lennons. Let's throw a little McCartney in here because with regard to his McCartney's archives set series, I'm one of the people who uncharacteristically is positive, thinking eventually we're going to get at least the Wings one. I really believe we're going to get London Town and Back to the Egg at the very least.
I hope so.
I don't know. In the tour books, tour program, we'll see if it's announced still that they're going to have still more coming.
Explain why there's such a long delay.
I can't.
I couldn't even.
Although some people were saying that with Denny Lane, possibly this is all guessing because of Denny Lane passing on. I don't know if it's legalities or anything. I don't know. But that's just guessing.
You were right, by the way, Joe. Dick Cavett, they did We're All Water.
Okay. As well. I knew she did it somewhere, but I thought it was. Yeah. And
Mike Douglas, they did Luck of the Irish, which was in the Daytime Revolution video. They also did Imagine and Sakura.
And It's So Hard.
And where is that? Because there's the Chuck Berry here, the Chuck Berry stuff. Surprised they didn't put Chuck Berry in. Yeah, It's So Hard. Yep, you're right. Okay, so it doesn't have everything, but still.
No, but
it's a good taste of all the different shows that they were on.
Well, any other thoughts that you want to mention? Anything?
I don't know. It's a very difficult thing to talk about this because, to me, when you're dealing with someone as important as John Lennon, everything that he ever released should come out. It's not like this is out of print, as I said before.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's so bizarre.
But this is kind of rewriting history.
It is.
And it's a shame because of the fact of who John Lennon was, because of the fact that his life was cut short and his catalog is so small, it makes every single song that he ever did more important to me. So to take out any one of them is wrong. But who knows if this is just going with the times at the moment and things will change in the future. But what I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably going to make up a CD of my own with the new mixes, and I'm just going to add that song at the beginning. I'll make up so it'll still be that album.
Yeah, exactly.
And, if anyone's still curious, they can just go to YouTube. It's probably on Spotify. Play the song.
I heard it's got a lot of hits. I don't know how many exactly now, but the songs, people are going to be curious when they hear about this.
Like I said, it was unnecessary. It brought more of a spotlight to it than would have if they just let it be. Let it be. Let things just be as they were. And I think there might have been some pushback, but I think now they've made more of it a spectacle of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, anything you want to plug or anything, what you're up to, or Matthew, why don't you tell us what you've been up to with your channel?
Oh boy. Well, I've been focusing on the Lennon thing the last couple of videos, and yeah, I've been on an Oasis kick lately. So if you're into Oasis, come over to my channel. I've been following the reunion tour, the big tour, and I'll be going to see them September 1st down in Jersey. So I'll be certainly doing a travel log or show log about that and talking about it. So I've been into that lately. My usual power pop stuff, always Beatles, always solo Beatles. Whenever I can come up with an idea in my pea brain here and think of something to talk about, I try to put something together to keep the Beatles train going. So yeah, no, just continuing to enjoy my channel. It's a fun hobby, and going to continue to march as long as I can. As long as I'm coming down for breakfast, the Matthew Street channel will exist, you know?
Gotcha. Okay, Matt, thanks. And Ken, how about you?
Well, I just did another Ultimate Beatles trivia show on my YouTube channel with John Borak from Goldmine Magazine. He also wrote that wonderful book, Beatles 100, 100 Pivotal Moments in Beatles History. And I was joined by Fred Velez, who was missing in action today for our show.
He was the other person that was going to be here. I know he sent me a text later on that said, I'm in the green room, but usually you see them on the bottom.
To meeting someone new, someone I didn't really know.
With Fred, I didn't see you. On the bottom, you can see people, and I didn't see you here, unless I just didn't notice. But.
He's probably monkeying around. And I also had Ed Ryan on my show, and Ed used to be my co-host when I first started doing my Beatles radio show on college radio. Did it for a year with him, and he's a really fantastic musician, always playing. He's in a David Bowie tribute band that you should catch called Bowie Station. They play a lot on Long Island. So we did another trivia show, which is always a lot of fun. Joe was a winner. Was it 4 times or 5?
I
think you don't remember.
It was at least 4. I don't think I got to the 5 was the one. That's the most you could do, right? Was it 5? Yeah. I think I missed the 5th one.
Okay. It's your accomplishment. I thought you'd remember.
Well, I'm still waiting for prizes. I want a prize, man. I need that Beatles in India thing. I don't have it.
Okay. Also, right after we finished doing this in the afternoon, I'm interviewing Luca Perassi again for his new book on Press to Play, an album that Joe might remember I kind of like. So
here's that clip. I can put the clip up just for fun. I've come to really well, not really, but I enjoyed Press to Play a lot more. But back in 2013, though, when I first started making videos.
Now this album, I just can't take it.
That was one of the first videos I saw of yours, Joe.
That's what got Tom Hagnotti interested. But not to cut into you, but the thing is, I had a mint copy of that album, in the plastic with the hype sticker and everything. That was an old one that the first track skipped. You couldn't unskip it. So there was no loss in that regard, but I figured I'd use it for a video. But I would never do that again, guys. I mean, I feel better about it than I did then.
Yeah, that album's grown on me over the...
I can't believe I used that. I might have to cut it out. We'll talk about it.
Well, you're much better now. You've matured.
Yeah, now I'm a full-grown nut.
That's right. But we always throw the honeymooners in. Anyway, but Press to Play is my second favorite McCartney album, as you know. So we talk about the album and all the information that's in his new book. And,
may I ask, because I don't know off the top of my head, Ken, what is your favorite McCartney album?
Flowers in the Dirt. For all the people that say that Paul was the 80s was his lost period, nobody disagrees with me more. Nobody disagrees with that more with me more.
Yeah. I say it was his comeback album.
Well, I love both those albums a lot, as you know, but
I know.
I think the late '80s was a great period for Paul between those two albums and the stuff he worked on with Phil Ramone. The Pizza and Fairy Tales bootleg, all the stuff that's on there, and with David Foster. It's a very prolific time. He was searching for different producers, and a lot of people don't like Press to Play because it has that '80s sound, but I love the '80s. I've never disliked the '80s. I don't mind synthesizers. I don't mind heavy drums. So I know your thoughts, Joe.
Yeah, I'm trying
Not
not
the
to.
production. You don't like the songs. You said it.
But I love Spies Like Us. I'll defend Spies Like Us all day. But,
Okay, cool. It's not the greatest lyrics, but it's still a great,
no, it's a rock.
great recording there, and it's nice and edgy and everything.
Yeah, the edge. It's the edginess, and I like it.
Yep. So there'll be another Things We Said Today coming soon. We just did a show with Steve Matteo, who is the author of the book Act Naturally. It's all about all the Beatles films. And since we're now in the 60th anniversary of Help, the album and the movie, we talked just about the movie. A lot of talk about Richard Lester in that show. Got a great reaction to that. And there'll be a new Talk More Talk. In fact, Talk More Talk, the next show, should also be with Luca Perassi for Press to Play. We can keep pressing on with Press to Play.
I think that's great, and I hope there is a Press to Play archive. And I think,
absolutely.
That song Yvonne, I really like Yvonne, and I've heard a mix that I liked of this. Some other mix of it.
There was a bootleg that came out that was less produced. Well, that's still pretty close, I think, to the finished product. And a lot of people like that. The people who don't like the Hugh Padgham, the loudness of the drums and the synthesizers, and there's still a lot of traditional McCartney on that album. Footprints and Only Love Remains and Move Over Busker. Those are all like an old-fashioned McCartney there between ballads and rockers. Stranglehold. So yeah, there's that album, and I think that if Paul ever does decide to put out an archival box set, he should put out that other version. Although I don't hear too big a difference, but we don't know everything that exists in the archives. There could be demos for every song. I'd love to hear that. That's another thing about the evolutionary mixes. I love them to death, but I hear these fragments of these songs and I want to hear them complete.
Yeah.
I want to hear the earliest demo complete of each song instead of, a minute. And then we jump in, a few months later and it's like this. But so it's a lot going on there between all my shows.
Okay, yeah, he's a busy man. Well, guys, thanks so much. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad. I think a lot of points were made, and I feel like I aired everything out. And looking forward to this box, and I will be reviewing it, and sure you guys will be talking about it. All right, so everybody, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button, all that stuff people say. Subscribe to these guys too, all their work. All right. Talk soon, everybody. Cheers.
Take care, everyone.